Hey guys, this is going to be my first ever video. I'm going to be rehousing this beautiful specimen. It's a male curly hair tarantula, which I use to pair with my female tarantula, who is over there in that bigger enclosure. It's a little bit barren today because I took out all of the things due to the pairing. So I'm going to get started, and I like using rocks and other miscellaneous things throughout the enclosure to give it a little bit more structure so that the teas can dig around and I have less worry of the burrows collapsing. I'm going to give it a lot of dirt. I'm actually almost out of dirt, so I'm going to have to do a quick run to the pet store. I use reptile soil, which I just get in bulk from PetSmart and Petco, depending on where I am and how close it is. I talk a lot with my hands, guys. I like patting it down. I definitely do not have enough dirt to finish this enclosure, so I will definitely be adding what he has. I like doing high and low points. Okay, and considering it's a male, I'm not too worried about making it look super nice because I'm not planning on keeping him for very long, being that he's already matured out and I don't know how long he has. I'm going to use this as a water dish, which is actually just a little deli cup that I got when I purchased my curly hair sling, which I have a little baby one of. Like keeping my hands clean relatively. I add rocks inside of the dirt as well as on top to give it a little texture. I have a lot of rocks that I just collect from outside, boil, clean, and wash thoroughly, just so that he has something to web up if he chooses to, or he can just sit on top of them. Okay. I will be including a hide or something for him to just web up and live on or around. So I gave him a nice little piece of cork bark that I just grabbed from my enclosures. I will be leaving this enclosure pretty bare, being that he is relatively large and he seems to be enjoying just sitting in here, being that I've only kept him in here for about a couple hours and he's already started webbing and seems like he's relatively happy with it. I do not feel particularly comfortable with this specimen, being that I just recently got him and he's been a little skittish in my care, and so particularly I like keeping most of my tarantulas happier by refusing to just pick them up and stuff. But there are a couple in my collection that I do feel comfortable just grabbing like that. I will actually be including the dirt that I packed him in with, just to give him a little bit more. Oh, he's already going out. I will actually just use this dirt. This is a chopstick. Just to give him a little bit more substrate to mess around in and dig around in. Oh, he's coming out. But I do highly suggest this species, being that they're relatively calm and they are not super aggressive or defensive. They can be a little bit more dull than other species, but in relatively speaking, they are very docile and don't tend to bite or kick hairs as much as other species can. Like this one in particular, he is a little bit skittish, as you can clearly see, as I just barely brushed him on accident. But he can be a little bit more than any of my other ones, specifically in my curly hair variety. But this is basically all I'm going to have him in. It's just a piece of cork bark that he can choose to dig around in or web around the water cup. And he's relatively big. I mean, he's fully matured. I couldn't tell you how old he is because I just recently got him off of my friend. But I will be giving him water and then closing up his enclosure. These guys don't particularly love moisture. I mean, the ones that I've been keeping tend to stay away from the moisture side, but I will be moistening his enclosure just slightly, just to keep it happy. And see, he's relatively docile once he's down. It's a relatively larger enclosure than when I kept him in, and I'm sure he will be a lot happier in this. Oh, he's coming to say hi to everybody. I'll actually take my phone out of the stand. Yep, that is the rehouse that I'm doing for this curly hair male. And you can tell that he's matured out because he has his pedipalps, which are the two fake, well, not fake, but two leg-looking pieces that aren't actually his legs. And he has his tibial hooks, which you can barely see. But those big nubs on those two little legs can tell me that he's a male and he's fully matured out, because I did actually you can actually see his tibial hooks right there, which he uses to then push up the female while they're breeding. I am going to attempt another breeding probably in the next week with him, and hopefully it all goes in plan. And this is my female, who hopefully will lay a ton of babies, which I will be, of course, selling because I don't need hundreds of babies. There we go. We close up the enclosure and call it a day.